Peace be upon you. Hello, my lovely student, prim 4. How are you today? Let's complete our units. Unit 10. It talks about space travel. And what can you see at space? Can people fly to the moon? Can people live in space? Now, look at this poster. What can you see at this poster? What can you see at this poster? Good, you can see satellite. You can see orbit. Orbit means the journey of an object going around a planet or star. The journey of an object going around a planet or star. It's orbit. Parachute means the large piece of cloth that fills with air and helps people and objects to go down to the ground slowly. For example, the pilot opened his parachute as soon as he jumped out of the plane. Again, the example, the pilot opened his parachute as soon as he jumped out of the plane. So, the parachute means the large piece of cloth that fills with air and helps people and objects to go down to the ground slowly. Parachute, orbit, planet, cosmonaut means astronaut, astronaut means the person who travels into space using spacecrafts. Spacecraft is a vehicle which can travel into space. It's a vehicle which can travel into space. So, astronaut is the person who travels into space using spacecraft. Astronaut, spacecraft, cosmonaut, commander, planet, satellite, orbit, parachute, spacecraft, astronaut, cosmonaut, planet, commander, satellite. So, these are our new vocabularies. Okay, now we will open your books, page 101. Please, let's listen to the CD.
Pupils Book, Unit 10, page 100. Reading.
Space Pioneers. Valentina Tereshkova, cosmonaut, the first woman in space. This photograph shows Valentina in her spacesuit.
Key dates. 1937, born near Yaroslavl, West Russia. 1945, started school. 1954, started working in a factory. Continued learning in her free time. 1959, first parachute jump. 1962, joined the space program. 1963, became the first woman in space. Married Andrian Nikolaev. 1964, her daughter was born, trained as a cosmonaut engineer. 1969 to 97, worked in the Russian Air Force. 2007, told her dream, a flight to Mars.
Valentina Tereshkova was born on the 6th of March 1937 near the city of Yaroslavl in western Russia. Her father was a tractor driver. Her mother worked in a factory. When she was 2 years old, her father died in a wartime battle. She started school when she was 8. At 17, she started working in a factory. Valentina enjoyed learning, so she continued her education in her free time. There was a flying club in Yaroslavl. Valentina joined and she learned to skydive. She made her first parachute jump on the 21st of May 1959. She was 22 years old. She became a spinning engineer at the factory, but she parachuted from planes many times. In 1961, the Russian space engineers had an idea. They wanted a Russian to be the first woman cosmonaut. The woman could not be too tall or too heavy. She had to be young enough and fit enough to fly in space. This was the description. Age, under 30 years old. Weight, under 70 kilograms. Height, under 170 centimeters. Important, she must be able to parachute. Valentina fitted this description. More than 50 young women did the tests, but only a few women were good enough. Valentina and 4 other women joined the space program in February 1962. Valentina trained hard. In November, the space engineers chose her for the special flight. "You will be the first woman in space," they told her. Valentina was delighted. At last, the day of the flight arrived. On the 16th of June, 1963, Valentina took off in the spacecraft Vostok 6. The flight lasted almost 3 days. During the flight, she spoke to people on the ground. Her call sign was Chaika. In English, this means seagull. This is the word in Russian. Chaika. In November, she married another cosmonaut. Her husband was Andrian Nikolaev. Their daughter, Elena, was born in 1964. Valentina trained as a cosmonaut engineer, then she worked in the Russian Air Force until 1997. Valentina Tereshkova became a hero of the Soviet Union. She received the United Nations Gold Medal of Peace. On her 70th birthday, she told a newspaper reporter, "I still have one dream, a flight to Mars. It is the dream of all cosmonauts."
The first men in space exploration. Vostok 1. This space rocket took Yuri Gagarin into orbit round the Earth. Yuri Gagarin, Russia. The first man in space. The first orbit of the Earth. The 12th of April, 1961. Alexei Leonov, Russia. The first spacewalk. The 18th of March, 1965. Neil Armstrong, America. The first man on the moon. The 21st of July, 1969.
Okay, now we have new words at the first page. So, for example, tractor, tractor, tractor. Please underline the word tractor. Tractor means a motor vehicle with large black wheels and thick tires used on farms. Again, tractor, please underline the word tractor. Tractor means a motor vehicle with large black wheels and thick tires used on farms. Another word, factory. Factory, please underline this word. Factory. Factory means a place where goods are made by machines. Factory. Factory. Another word is education. Education, please underline the word education. Education means teaching or training on a subject. Teaching or training on a subject. Another word, joined. Joined. Joined is the past of the verb join. Join. Join to become a member of a group. Join. Join to become a member of a group. Engineers, another word is engineers. Engineer is someone who plans and builds machines, bridges. Engineers. Engineers. Okay. After we listen to the record, I want to ask you some questions. Try to think of their answers. Question number 1. Who was Valentina Tereshkova? Who was Valentina Tereshkova? Good. A Russian cosmonaut, the first woman in space. A Russian cosmonaut, the first woman in space. When was she born? When was she born? Good. She born in 1937. In 1937. Okay. What did her parents do? What did her parents do? Good. Her father was a tractor driver and her mother worked in a factory. Worked in a factory. What did she learn? What did she learn? Try to think. What did she like doing? What did she like doing? She liked learning. She liked learning. Okay, another question. When was her first parachute jump? When was her first parachute jump? When? Good. 21st May 1959. 21st of May 1959. Okay. Another question. How did she feel when the scientists chose her for the flight? How did she feel? Was she sad or was she happy? Good. She was delighted. She was delighted means very happy. How long was her flight? How long was her flight? It was 3 days. It was 3 days. What did her call sign Chica mean in English? What did her call sign Chica means in English? Try to think. Good. It means seagull. Chica means in English seagull. What did Valentina work as father? Her daughter was poor. Good. Cosmonaut engineer. What was her dream? What was her dream? A flight to Mars. Good. A flight to Mars. Which country did the first man in space come from? Which country did the first man in space come from? It is in the next page. Which country did the first man in space come from? Yuri Gagarin, Russia. It's from Russia. Who first worked in space on the moon? Alexei Leonov, Neil Armstrong. Neil Armstrong. Okay, now open your student book, page 102. 102. Open your student book, page 102. Look at this page. What can you see? Can see plane, parachute. Parachute. Good. Reading comprehension and vocab. Answering the questions. Question number 1. When was Valentina Tereshkova born? When was Valentina Tereshkova born? Question number 2. Question number 2. Where did she work at 17? Number 3. Where did Valentina learn to skydive? What was the ration? What was the Russian space engineer's idea? Number 5. How many women joined the space program in February 1962? Number 6. How long did the Valentina flight last? Number 7. On her 17th birthday, what was her one dream? Number 8. Who was the first man in space? Who was the first man in space? Number 9. What did Alex Lenovo do first? Number 10. Who was the first man on the moon? Try to answer these questions. You have 5 minutes to try to think about the answer of these questions. Good. Number 1. When was Valentina Tereshkova born? Good. In 6th of March 1937. Good. Number 2. Where did she work at 17? In a factory. Good. Number 3. Where did Valentina learn to skydive? Number 3. At the flying club in Yaroslav. At the flying club in Yaroslav. Please write these answers. At the flying club in Yaroslav. Number 4. What was the Russian space engineer's idea? Number 4. A Russian as the first woman cosmonaut. A Russian as the first woman cosmonaut. 5. How many women joined the space program in February 1962? How many? Good. 50 women. Number 6. How long did Valentina's flight last? How long? Good. Almost 3 days. Almost 3 days. Number 7. On her 17th birthday, what was her one dream? Good. Her dream was a flight to Mars. Her dream was a flight to Mars. Number 8. Who was the first man in space? Who was the first man in space? Good. Yuri Gagarin. Number 9. What did Alex Lenovo do first? What did Alex Lenovo do first? Good. Walked in space. Walked in space. Who was the first man on the moon? Who was the first man on the moon? Good. Neil Armstrong. He was Neil Armstrong. Neil Armstrong was the first man on the moon. Okay. Activity 2. Talk about the answer to these questions. The first woman cosmonaut had to be young and fit. Why? What do you think? The first woman cosmonaut had to be young and fit. Good. Because a long journey makes you tired. The cosmonaut had to stay in space for several days. The scientists didn't want the cosmonaut to be ill in space rocket. Okay, number 2. Did the Russian engineers want a small woman or a big woman, and why? Did the Russian engineers want a small woman or a big woman? Good. They wanted a small woman. There isn't much room inside a space rocket. So a big woman is heavier than a small woman's. So the rocket takes off more easily with a lighter cosmonaut. Okay. Do you have the same dream as Valentina Tereshkova? Why or why not? This is your own answers. As you want. Do you have the same dream? Yes or no? And why? Activity number 3. Choose the best word to complete each sentence. Lasted, program, received, education, fit, exploration. Lasted, program, received, education, fit, exploration. Question number 1. Number 1. Your is very important, so you must work hard at school. So, number 1 is your education. Education. Number 1, your good, your education, your education. Number 2, is space exciting or too dangerous? Is space exciting or too dangerous? Number 2, good, exploration. Exploration. Is space exploration exciting or too dangerous? Number 3, this year our sports includes football training and swimming lessons. So this year our sport program good, our sport program. Number 4, Alfie can run 100 meter in 15 seconds. He is very fit. He is very fit. So number 4 is fit. Number 5, last week our school a very important visitor. Good. Last week our school received a very important visitor. Received. Number 6, the children's performance of the ugly duckling lasted 1 hour. The children's performance of the ugly duckling lasted 1 hour. Okay, now open your workbook, page 92. Match the picture with the word, write the letter. Match the picture with the word, write the letter. Number 1. Number 1, astronaut. Where is astronaut? Good. Astronaut number I. Astronaut. Number 2, planet. Where is the picture of planet? Planet. Good. B. So planet. Number 2 is B. C. Space engineer. Where is the space engineer? Good. Space engineer. Good. C. Number 4, where is a comet? Number 4. Comet. Number F. F. Comet. Number 5, parachute. Parachute. Good. Parachute is number letter H. Good. H. Number 6, factory. Where is the factory? Good. D. Number 7, skydive. Where is skydive? Good. A. 8, orbit. This is an orbit. G. Commander. Commander. Good. Where is commander? This is commander. E. Good. Okay, activity number 2. Match the words with the definition. Write the words you may check in your dictionary. Paddle or pat with paddle. Take off. Take off. Wartime. Wartime. Become. Hard. Delighted. Train. You may check in your dictionary. Very pleased means good. Delighted. Number 2, to begin, to be something. To begin, to be something. Good. Become. Number 3, leave the ground in flight. Leave the ground in flight. Good. Take off. Take off. Number 4, with a lot of effort. With a lot of effort. Number 4, good. Hard. Hard. Number 5, to learn and practice. To learn and practice. Good. To train. Train. Train here is a verb. Train. Train here is a verb. A fight between soldiers. A fight between soldiers. Good. A war. A battle. No, it's a battle. 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 Battle or a battle. It's the time I saw it before. Bottle. No, it's battle. The time when two countries are fighting. This is a wartime. 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 Good. So number 1, very pleased, delighted. 2, to begin, to be something, become. Leave the ground in flight, take off. With a lot of effort, it's hard. To learn and practice is train. A fight between soldiers, battle. The time when two countries are fighting is war time. Okay. Thank you. Goodbye. See you tomorrow, inshallah.